Welcome, esteemed MBA students of the Dairy School of Entrepreneurship. In today's section, we'll be exploring a crucial topic that separates stagnation from sustainability in business. What we'll be discussing today is known as the business model innovation and adaptation. In an era of rapid technological advancement, shifting customer expectations, global competition, and crises like pandemics and climate challenges, your ability to innovate and adapt your business model will determine whether your venture truly thrives or dies. We've seen this happen in the life cycle, should I say the lifespan of most business in recent time. There are companies I would not like to mention, but there are companies that used to be extremely popular, well known globally when it comes to photography, but today they are nowhere to be found because of lack of business model innovation and adaptation. That is why it is important for us to discuss this at this point in time. So by the end of this section, students will be able to define business model innovation and understand its components, differentiate between product innovation and business model innovation, identify triggers and drivers for innovation and adaptation, apply adaptive strategies to evolving market and customer needs, and then exploit case studies of companies that reinvent their business model and are successful today. We're also going to be looking at mapping our own innovative business model as part of our assignment for this course. So let's begin with the discussion. What is a business model? In simple terms, a business model is described as a company way of creating, deliver, and capturing value. It provides answers to key questions such as who is the customer? Got to know your customer base is, and then we'll talk about what value do you offer to your customer? How do we deliver that value? Now you know the value you've got to offer to your customer. How do you deliver that value, and how do we generate revenue and remain sustainable? You need to understand that business is more than being successful. You want to be sustainable in the long run, and that is why we talk about a business model innovation and adaptation. It is extremely important we study this. Now, let's think of it as an operating system for your business. Your strategy made visible. This is not just your stratagem, but it's a strategy you use to remain relevant in the business ecosystem. So it is time to begin to look into more detail what is a business model innovation, which is the process of rethinking, reinventing the way your business delivers value. You've got to understand that with the shift in technology, social-cultural change in the business ecosystem, you've got to rethink and reinvent the way you transfer, deliver value to the market ecosystem. So it's not just about introducing a new product, it's part of it, but it is about restructuring your value proposition and revenue stream, cost structures, customer relationships, or delivering channels to better meet market demands. These are all part of business innovation and adaptation. You've got to come to that point where you talk about how do you restructure your value proposition. Oftentimes, value proposition can be driven by quality or even price. How do you restructure it in a way that you stay relevant in a competitive business ecosystem? It could be either you're adopting a blue ocean strategy or a red ocean strategy. The most important thing is that you restructure your value proposition, your revenue stream, your cost structure in a way, customer relationship, and channels. Channels are pathway through which you deliver value from the producer, should I say, from yourself to those that needs your product. And so that is what we'll be looking at today. Now let's talk about business model adaptation. How do you adapt in the world of business evolution? How do you truly adapt and stay relevant and ensure that you are not just surviving, you are thriving? How do you achieve that? This is why we talk about the business model adaptation. It's beyond innovation. You've got to learn to adapt to changes that occur in the business ecosystem globally. So it's the ability of an organization or your business to adjust its model in response to environmental changes such as new technology and customer behavioral shift. We talk about demography and psychography, and economic changes, market disruption, and regulatory and demands, among several other variables you need to consider How do you respond? When we talk about business resilience in the first semester and risk mitigations and the rest of it, now you're coming to the front. How do you adapt? How do you mitigate those changes? How do you ensure that you stay relevant with time as a result of development and advancement in technology, customer behavioral shift? We see a lot of culture in the business world today. The Gen Z, there's a cultural shift. How you deliver value from the educational sector to entertainment to the food industry and fashion. There's a complete shift added. How do you adapt to present reality? It's what will ensure that you are not just making by, you are also thriving in the ever-changing business ecosystem. So adaptation is about resilience and responsiveness. So resilience is your ability to bounce back. Responsiveness is your ability to act appropriately. So adaptation is about your resilience and your responsiveness. So should I say, I don't want to say uncertainty, but it's part of it. But your ability to respond to change in the market ecosystem is what we talk about adaptation. So we looked at innovation versus adaptation. What is the difference? Oftentimes people get confused between what is innovation, what is adaptation. They are both important if you want to build successful and sustainable enterprise, especially in this semester where it is time to start incubating your ideas into real profitable venture. Now, when it comes about innovation adaptation, we talk about proactive, reactive, or responsiveness. It's about creating new opportunities, respond to changes or threats, often radical, disruptive, often incremental or strategic. Innovation is proactive. Adaptation is reactive or responsive. You got to understand that. Now, for innovation, it's about creating new opportunities or increment in value. Now, when we talk about adaptation, is respond to changes or threats in the business ecosystem. Then you talk about innovation as being radical or disruptive. We will talk about the different form of innovation. It could be very radical, it could be disruptive. Then for adaptation, it's often incremental. You watch how the system takes place, you adopt and you adapt. And then it's extremely strategic when it comes to adaptation. You want to be very strategic in delivering your adaptations framework. Example we can give for innovation is Uber. Then for adaptation is Airbnb. Netflix adapting from DVD to streaming. That is beautiful. So you see Netflix adapting from the conventional DVD to streaming. That is a classic example of adaptation. As part of your business development strategy, you've got to understand innovation and adaptation. I tell you, most businesses have gone into extinction because of the lack of adaptation. They might be good in innovation, but they fail to adapt to present reality. So they are like two wings that takes you into the future. It's like you have the waves of evolution coming after your business. So you've got to develop the two wings of innovation and adaptation for you to be able to excel. Now, both are essential. We're going to be looking at the component of business model innovation, and I hope it serves as an essential tool for you to grow in this semester. The first thing when it comes to component of business model innovation, we talk about the business model canvas, which is a popular framework. You talk about the customer segment, the segment you're serving. You've got to know the people you're serving. That will enable you to develop what we call the FCC qualified product. You listen, you connect, and you create. You have the customer segment, you have the value proposition. What is your value? Remember, when it comes to adaptation, you are restructuring your value to keep capturing your anticipated customer segment. So what is the value you're giving out to the customers? And then we'll talk about the channels and the pathway through which you transfer value from the producer to the end user or from the seller to the end user. So it's about channels of distributions. And then your customer relationship. What kind of relationship do you intend to keep with your market, your customer base, whether it's the TAM, the SAM, or the SUM? You've got to understand the customer relationship that you intend to build. That will enable you to talk about effective branding, promotion, and the rest of it. Then your revenue stream. What are the source of revenue stream? Are you going to be getting revenue from service, from product? How are you going to get your revenue? You need to have a well-defined revenue stream when it comes to your business. Then you talk about the key resources. These are resources you need to deploy to activate your process, to get things working. So what resources do you need to deploy? They're extremely important that they are well articulated. You don't assume in these cases, because assumption for me is the lowest form of intelligence. You've got to take your time to state the resources, the key resources you need to get your business working. And then we'll talk about the key activities. What activities do you need to take? Is it daily, weekly, monthly to achieve your goal as a business? Whether you want to innovate, you want to adapt, what are the strategic activities that you need to deploy on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, or even quarterly or annual basis? And then we talk about the key partnership, giving to partnership when it comes to business, because you're as good as your partners. And you've got to understand, partnership is not just about people with fund. Talking about technical partnership, people with social capital that can connect you to the right market. So, and the different levels of partnership. So who are your key partners? Who are the people you'll be building synergy with to ensure that you recruit clients, you retain clients, and you expand your client base? And you also, it helps you for production, and resources flows through relationships and key partnership. And then the cost structure. You've got to be able to know what is the overhead cost, what is your CapEx, what is your OpEx, and capital expenses and your operational expenses. All these are important when it comes to getting your business model canvas framework in place. Innovation may occur in any of these blocks. I've told people that beyond product innovation, having an innovative product, you've got to understand there's also process innovation. There's management innovation. You've got to deploy innovation in the 9 blocks as it relates to your business model canvas. You've got probably to innovate with your cost structure. You've got to innovate with your key partners. How do you go into partnership? Your activities, you've got to introduce innovation there. So regarding the 9 components of your business model canvas, you've got to introduce innovation to them. Some could be radical, some could be gradual, some could be architectural, but the truth is that you've got to explore innovation tendency to ensure that you are building a business that can compete in the ever-changing business ecosystem. You may ask, when and why should you innovate your model? Remember, your model is like an architectural design that shows you how you transfer value to the consumers. So you ask, when do I innovate? Or when or why should I innovate? It's a very important question, because it's a trigger for business model innovation if you can ask that question and provide the right answer. It's when there's decline in revenue or relevance. There's decline in revenue, that is the time to innovate. You don't wait in your business that you can sense there's a drop in revenue, there's a decline, it's time to innovate. And when there are signs of digital disruption in the system, it's time to innovate. Advancement of new technology, entry of agile competitors, it's time to innovate. Policy and regulatory changes, it's time to innovate. Global crisis age of COVID-19, you discover that those businesses that have the 2 framework of innovation and adaptation were able to survive and thrive even during COVID and post-COVID. After the COVID-19 era, people began to see more reason why businesses should innovate and adapt. It's extremely important you have the policy in place, you have your research and development unit following your innovative and adaptive framework. It's going to help you succeed and stay relevant in business. You should innovate not just to survive, but to lead, to stay up there. That is why you should innovate. And I'm going to give some case studies. Let's look at Netflix, for instance. From DVD rental to streaming to content production, that is innovation. Amazon, beautiful, from online bookstore to global e-commerce and cloud services, that is innovation. And then we'll talk about Apple, from hardware sales to ecosystem and service subscription, that is innovation. Let's talk about MTN back in Africa, South Africa, Nigeria. From telecom to mobile banking, you talk about the Momo today, that is innovation, staying relevant. So you've got to, as new entry competition comes in, technology, and you've got to learn to innovate to stay relevant. Innovation makes you relevant, and when you are relevant, you tend to increase in revenue and thrive, not just survive. Now, there are 8 strategies for innovation and adaptation I would like to share with you today. The first one is the freemium model. We say that's carried out by Spotify. You come in free, but after some time you charge for something, and it's a good way when you want to get people to, you have a good product, you just want people, you have competitions, existing competition, so you can give in a free product, you call freemium, people come in and then they get used to that and they want to stay on. Is a way you can snatch an existing customer from a strong competitor. Then you have the subscription model. Organizations like Netflix, Canvas Pro, they operate that, the subscription. These are strategies for innovation and adaptation you too can deploy. If you get my book, The Entrepreneur's Guide, you're going to see some of these theories written in that book. Then you have the platform-based model, Uber, Joomla. These are innovation. They're using platform. They don't really have products, but they are able to serve as a connecting platform to several people, and they connect consumers to service providers. So you can use the platform-based models. And then you have the pay-per-use model of innovation. Talk about the cloud services and the rest of them. And then we'll talk about the circular economy model, recycling, reuse. All these are different strategies for innovation and adaptation that can keep your company relevant. The goal is to always align your business model with emerging customer behaviors, values, and trend. That is the goal. Always align your business model with emerging customer behavior, values, and trend. It is extremely important you don't forget this if you forget any other thing I have said. So as we call it a close, I want you to take this assignment very serious. I want you to map your business idea on a business model canvas. Remember the 9 categories we've mentioned. You go back and you look at it and you say, okay, how do I do that? From your customer segment, who are the people you're serving, your value proposition, your channels, your customer relationship, your revenue stream, your key resources, key activities, key partnership, and cost structures. So I want you to go back and map your business idea on a business model canvas. Identify areas you can innovate or adapt in your business model canvas. Then suggest 2 or 3 future scenarios where you may need to adapt, and then submit a 3-minute. Okay, for now, we're going to leave the 3-minute pitch. I'm going to suspend that so that you don't, and you're going to leave that at this point in time. I'm going to let that be. However, I want to encourage every one of you to take this assignment serious. Map your business idea on the business model canvas and identify areas you can innovate or adapt. Suggest 2 or 3 scenarios where you may need to adapt. These are just the basic assignments you do, and this is how you do this assignment. You go straight to this video right now, you click the comment section, then you put in your student number and your name, and then you write your assignment under. So it is from the comment part of this video we'll be assessing your assignment. So we want you to do that right now. You go to the comment section, you put in your student number, your name, and you identify areas you can innovate. You start by mapping your business idea on a bit. It must relate to the business you presented on your pitch. If it's different from the pitch you sent to us, then we know you are not doing this yourself. You are just trying to become a copycat. So ensure that the business idea you're going to be writing on your business model canvas must be based on your 2-minute video pitch for the last semester. Identify the area you can innovate or adapt. Suggest 3 future scenarios where you may need to adapt in line with ever-changing world reality, business reality in the business ecosystem. We need to get that. You have this week to get this done. It is a weekly assignment. You also will be required to go to your consortium WhatsApp page to take care of the reading assignment and then summarize it with your GAG principle for the week. We want to see that report. Same with your student identity number, your name on your consortium platform. That is where you submit the assignment. We want to see it there. We're going to be watching the consortium seriously, and then the YouTube page designed for your own semester. We want you to have your submission on the comment section with your name and your student registration number. So in conclusion, in a fast-changing world, the greatest threat to any business is not change. It is resistance to change. As entrepreneurs, leaders, your edge is how you design and redesign your models for sustained impact and profitability. So I'm going to leave you with this quote by Charles Darwin. It is not the strongest species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the most responsive to change. I'd like to repeat that. It is not the strongest species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the most responsive to change. I wish you guys a very successful week, as we look forward to reading your comment and also reading your assignment on the Course.home platform. We also look forward to seeing you in class on Thursday for the 1 hour encounter, and then on Friday for the business roundtable. Do have a great day and stay blessed. Bye for now. My name is Oba Boniface Omozwapo. Do take care. Bye.